Hi, I'm Ria Lina, and I would put tolerance for others in my immigrant jam.
Oh my God, this is so beautiful. We are back with a brand new episode, everybody. How are you? What's going on? Hello, Immigrant Jamily, the family of Immigrant Jam. It's me, Lucie Pohl, your host, back live in New York City. That's right, a beautiful warming, global warming, a day of global warming. It's so hot outside. It's October 21st. Nobody knows what's going on, but it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's exciting. I hope you guys enjoyed the last episode. What did you think of the Serbian hating on the Serbians? Let us know. Also exciting news. The 100th episode recorded live at the New York Comedy Festival on November 17th. Get your tickets. Yes, it's a Sunday. I hope to see you guys there. But now I must introduce you to my guest. Yes, she is here from faraway lands, from a world unexplored by mankind, a world that some people call Britain and some people call England. Yes, but she comes from so many places. We're going to get into it. She wants to put tolerance for others in her immigrant jam. She can't be American, that's for sure. Give it up for the comedian touring the US of A right now with a show at the Lyric Hyperion in motherfucking Los Angeles on November 6th. Give it up for Ria Lina.
I was wondering where I was from there. I thought for a moment you were talking about my vagina. It was so unexplored. I was just like, where am I from? Okay.
The Unexplored Vagina of Ria Lina, a new memoir.
I've given so much away in like the first 30 seconds.
It's good. Give it all away. That's what we do.
Well, I mean, if I did, it wouldn't be so unexplored, would it?
Now that's true.
See?
Now that's true. But you know, a lot of times I feel like when women speak openly about their unexplored vaginas, men are scared.
Weirdly scared because that's all they want. All they want is unexplored vagina. They don't like if it's been overly explored.
They want a quiet vagina that doesn't talk. They want a little vagina that is very, very demure.
And that feels most comfortable in the kitchen.
That feels most comfortable in the kitchen?
Or on their back, yeah.
On their back?
Well, you know what I mean? Like, they want their vagina to be in the kitchen or on its back.
Oh, like a vagina backpack. Oh, you mean on its back?
Yeah, on its back.
Not the vagina, the back with the vagina.
No, not a vagina on their back. In fact, if anything, that's what they don't want, is a vagina riding their back, going,
a vagina
do this, do that, be better.
Also, an unexplored territory of the market.
Would everything fall out of a vagina backpack? I wouldn't trust everything in a vagina backpack.
It depends on how old it is. Little chuckle there from Mike.
I'm so sorry to everybody who's never heard of me before that I've just brought it this low. I brought it this low.
Well, if they listen to this podcast, they knew.
They know. Okay.
They know. But Ria, welcome. Welcome to the podcast and welcome to New York City. How long have you been in New York?
What? I'm so jet lagged. Hang on. About 3 days. It's crazy. Can I say that? It is crazy. Am I in a safe space? I mean, it's weird. Like when you go around your own hometown, you feel confident about, okay, if there's a cold going around, you go, oh, I've already had that cold or whatever. And I walk around going, I'm going to get a different disease that I've never had before. It feels different. I'm not going to get stabbed like in London. I'm going to get shot. It's just a very different feel. Everyone, like in London, we have a reputation for being rude, where we don't talk to anyone, we don't do eye contact, don't mess with me. But here it's scary. But it's sort of everyone walks around with a certain entitlement, which the British don't. We walk around as if, we apologize for being born. I'm so sorry that I'm here. I'm so sorry.
Right. Except if it's in other countries like India,
weirdly,
and
very weirdly.
Except if you're colonizing places, then
when we call I think we probably did apologize.
You think the colonizers apologized?
Yeah, we sort of went in. I am so sorry, but you're not good enough. Do you know what I mean? I'm so sorry, but we own you now.
You say we, but you don't necessarily have a British accent.
No, I know.
And I think your mom is from the Philippines.
She is.
Your dad is German.
Yes.
You grew up in the Netherlands.
Yeah, Britain and the Netherlands.
And you went to an American school.
I went to an American school.
And that's why you talk like that.
So that's why, honey, I can bring it if I need to.
So wait, your mom's Filipino and your dad is German.
Yes.
That's mind-blowing.
That gives you this.
Yeah. You speak?
when spoken to, yes. No, so my father spoke German till I was about 6. Then my sister came along and went, no, and refused, and he stopped. So even though I did it at IB level, my German isn't as fluid or isn't as fluent as I'd like it to be. Then, of course, we moved to Holland, and I went, who needs Dutch? Like, I love the Dutch. Don't get me wrong. Absolutely love it. And it's home to me. But at the time we moved there, I went, honestly, what good is Dutch? Couldn't we just move 3 hours, east and be in Germany?
But the Dutch are happier than the Germans. I feel like it was better to be in Holland.
Oh, the Dutch are amazing.
You are also a mother.
I am a mother.
I can't believe you have 3 kids.
I have 3 kids and a stepkid. So I have 4 kids.
That's so crazy.
I have a stepson and 3 kids.
Wait, you have a stepson?
Yeah, so the man I procreated with came with one that he made earlier. He's like, here's one I made earlier. I went, great specimen. Let's make more.
Did you always want to have kids?
Yes. Oh, they were inside me just like screaming to get out. They were like, yeah, I was like, get out of me and then I can do my life.
And you, before you became a comedian, you have degrees, like science degrees.
Yeah, but
Is this true?
Asian. Yes, but I'm Asian. You can't be that amazed. Like if I were white, I get it. But I'm Asian, so it kind of came with the necessary territory. Before I was allowed to leave home, I had to have something to fall back on. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't allowed to go into the arts.
So you wanted to, though, you knew you wanted to do that?
Yes. I knew, actually, I remember, because I finished high school at like 16, and I said to my mom, I want to maybe take a gap year, maybe, do some acting, go into drama school. She went, no, you were going to university. And she shipped me off to my first degree, which was in biology, like a pathology degree. That was the first one. Wow. And then I didn't enjoy it. I didn't have a good time at the first degree, probably because I was only 17 years old and wasn't old enough. So then when I finished that at 19, I went, I'm not ready to like go into the world and just get a job. It seemed weird at 19 to go, what, now I just work for the rest of my life? So then I went and did a PhD to just stay in school longer.
You got a PhD when you were 19?
Well, no, I got it when I was 23 because it took a few years.
Such a loser. I can't even drive a car.
Yeah, but I didn't have friends and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Like I was a freakazoid. I met my husband when I was at uni and got married and had kids. So I was just, I did everything in the wrong order.
So what?
Totally.
No, but I think this is the right order. So
take me to prom. I'd love to go to prom.
No, but I think that's the right order. I wish I would have just had kids when I was like 14. Just fucking get it out of the way. Then you're 34 and they're grown up and they can do their thing. You know what I mean? Like, who needs a childhood? I really feel like
you're speaking to my Asian side now.
The younger, the better. Like, yeah, get a PhD at 16.
Working.
We were talking about the unboxing videos. Become a millionaire at 7. Get a YouTube fucking channel. When you're 3, become a millionaire. Have kids as soon as possible. Get it all out of the way, and then you can start reflecting, and then you start realizing how painful it is to become old and crumply.
Stop it. Don't get, no spoilers. Stop it. Hey. You're not there yet. I'm not there yet. Let's just pretend it's not going to happen that way.
No, but I had this moment the other day. I walked by this super old lady and I was like, oh my God. This is the first time in my life that I see the old lady, and I'm not like, this is an old lady and that's like an immovable thing. Like, this old lady is just a young lady who got old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, fuck.
It's, what
happened to me?
What I find amazing is when you look at people that are clearly, 70s, 80s, and you think about, and you go, okay, I'm in my 30s, and then you think about what life was like when they were in their 30s, 50 years ago. That's what gets me.
Yeah, that too.
Is when, there's that fact, like the last Civil War bride only died a couple of years ago, or she died this century, and, just sort of thinking about, when you just go, oh my gosh, when you were young, when you were my age, like the world was totally different. It was completely different.
Yes,
I think
and how different it'll be when we're 80.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just going to be Elon Musk clones walking around everywhere going, hello, hello, hello.
But we'll all have a point score, won't we, probably? We'll all, the government will control and track all of us.
Like that Black Mirror episode with the likes. Have you seen that episode?
Where they up you and down you.
Upvote you.
We'll just be heads in jars in, electronic vehicles.
That would be kind of good, because then we wouldn't have saggy tits.
But nobody would have tits.
Exactly. You just get rid of tits.
But
they can't be
they've
saggy.
spent so much time in science uplifting tits. Wouldn't it seem a huge waste to suddenly get to a point where they just go, right, we're going back to the drawing board, no more tits?
I don't know. I think no more tits is the socialist way to handle things.
I think there's other things I get rid of before tits.
What would you get rid of?
Oh, balls.
Balls?
Oh, God.
Why?
Yeah. They're saggy
I like
and
balls.
ugly. Ugh.
You don't like
Ugh.
balls?
No. Ugh.
I like balls.
It's
I like that they're so vulnerable. Bing.
Okay, that I'll give you. I will give you that.
You can destroy a whole man by just going bling. Do your parents watch your comedy? Are they still around?
You know, for a second, I thought you were going to say, did they watch you doing something else?
Oh no! Oh my God! Is that
just because we were on that topic,
the
and then you went straight into. So, do your parents watch your comedy? So, yes, they do. When I gig in the Netherlands, they'll come to the shows. My father will still, even now. You know, I am safely ensconced in my career. Like it's pretty confident that I'm not going to have to become a barista tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And yet, every time I do a show, he goes, "Did it go okay? Did they laugh? Did they laugh?" He's so worried. And he's German as well, though, so he doesn't really get it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
laughter. You mean
laughter, comedy? Yeah. The whole thing's foreign to him. But did they laugh? And so he's always worried about that. And when I first started gigging in the Netherlands, because I actually didn't start gigging over there professionally until I'd been doing it in the UK for at least like 5-10 years. And so for the first couple gigs, he would come and then he would sit in the bar and just sort of listen for laughter, but he wouldn't come in the room. He was too scared.
So
and he's like, "Oh, they'll know I'm your dad. They'll know I'm your dad. I can't." And he'd sit outside at the bar and wait and then go, "I heard laughter. I heard them laughing."
That's so cute.
It was very sweet. And my mom has always very objectively believed that I am the best person on the bill, no matter what.
Wow, okay.
Which surprises me because she's so matter of fact and rational and scientific. And, you know, classic mom where, you know, one day a few years ago, she said to me, "Your arms are getting flabby," and I can't unsee it. They were, you know, like my arms were fine, but she just went, "They're getting a bit flabby." You know, that kind of mom that will nitpick about everything. And yet, weirdly, every time she comes to a gig, I am objectively the best person on the bill. And I'm a realist. You know that that's not always true. You know, there are days you have good gigs and bad gigs, or maybe you're the opening act and there's this fantastic headliner and it's just not possible.
Well,
but
it's relative, though. To her, you're the best.
yes, to her, I'm the best every time. So that's nice because for years she was not entirely supportive or sure that I was making the right decisions, starting with getting married and having babies at a very young age. I remember when I first told her I was pregnant, she just went, "We just got your sister out of the house. We were looking forward to some child-free years. We were going to get a new sofa. Now we can't change the sofa because the baby will get all over the sofa." That was her initial reaction to that. And married, and then I got married, and she was like, "We don't have kids with the first husband. We practice with the first husband." So she was always just very, my dad's our third husband.
Third husband?
Third husband.
I love your mom.
No, she's great.
This
She's great.
is my theory that to be a true, like, to truly be a badass woman, you have to get married and divorced at least 3 times. Because if you're divorced once, I'm divorced once.
I'm divorced once.
You're divorced once.
Yeah.
And usually people kind of give like a no reaction to women who are divorced once.
Oh,
like kind of
really?
like, "What happened to you? Nobody
Really? Do you
wanted
get that?
But I just feel like in general, like you get this like kind of like, I get a lot of like, or at least when I was single for a while, I got a lot of like, I mean, you have it all. What's wrong with you? You know, like that type of thing. Like, why aren't you married? Why aren't you this? Why aren't you that? And
get
men
that,
don't
yeah.
get that.
That's because
Right?
men rarely have it all. How many men do you come across or you just go, "Why is this guy not taken?" You never question that. What we come across is men that you go, "Damn it, why didn't I meet you before she got you?" That's
Really? I don't meet those either.
No, I mean, I'm not saying it's common, but I will meet a nice guy that'll go, you're either gay or taken, you know? I've never come across a man,
A single guy,
a single
yeah,
man in
that's
his
true.
40s where you just go, "Ooh, you're a hidden gem." Where have you been?
You've been saving yourself for the right one.
I see. You know, because normally,
What's wrong with men, do you think? What went wrong for
okay,
men?
how long is this podcast?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, okay. So many things. So it turns out, and I learned this by so I have boy kids and girl kids.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's how you say it. I have my
or maybe
kids.
you should let them decide.
Well, they have now decided. They have now decided. So they were born with. I gave birth to babies with a range of genitalia. They have landed on identifying with their genitalia. So I have girls and boys. And what I noticed was that it's not the way around that we've been raised in society. Girls are taught to be very demure, very modest, very mindful, right? And boys are supposed to be stoic and don't show your emotions and don't cry and don't be a girl, right? But actually it's the other way around. Boys are actually incredibly sensitive.
Yes.
And incredibly emotional.
Yes.
And
Hence the little soft balls.
Yeah, well, that doesn't help.
Exactly.
And what we do is we beat it out of them, so that what you end up with are these men with low self-esteem and overdriven egos, because everyone's told them, oh, you're a man and you got to be the man of the house, when actually it's the girls that, older daughter, like first daughters, they can do everything. They can run an entire company and get the dishwasher loaded, whereas sons are absolutely useless.
Why though? Why are they useless? Because they're sensitive?
No, it's because societally we mollycoddle them. We mollycoddle boys and.
But how did you raise yours? Or do you think that it's beyond just how you raise your children, that it is a bigger...
No, I think how you raise them is huge. So we have an interesting split in our household. So even though we're divorced, get this, we still live together.
Nice.
Oh yes, I'm living the dream. And so in our household, I'm the one that goes out and tours the world and makes the money, and he's home most of the time. He does work, but his business is smaller, and he's home every night.
Okay.
So one of my kids, the youngest one, was at school, and they were talking about what the family looks like, and from a sociological perspective, and they were going, well, the dad earns money and the mom does this, and he went, no, I don't recognize that at all, because I'm the one that comes home and says, do your homework and what have you done, and I do all the academics and all of that, and I guess their dads, we both hug, but I guess in some regards he's the slightly safer parent. He's the one you go to with something big because he won't yell, whereas if you come to me with it, I'll be like, you got a what on your math test? I'll be like, but we studied for that, and I'm the one that's, so it's a real role reversal. So either my son, so hopefully my sons are also, they have to do chores and they have to do things and around the house, which is another important thing. And interesting, because I'm quite, I don't want to say male, it's not male, but because I am this
assertive
businesswoman, because I'm a successful businesswoman. My daughter is grown up, and again in a role reversal, it was my daughter that always go, can I have some money? Can I have more money? Can I have more pocket money? Which you normally see in boys. It's usually boys that ask for money and girls accept whatever they're given. But actually she was the one going, no, I need more money. I want this. I want that. Buy me this. Get me that. I want all these. She would always ask. And the boys actually don't ask that much. The boys just sit there. They're like, I don't need anything. I've got 3 T-shirts. Do you need any? Do you need a new underwear? No, I've got 2 pieces of underwear over there. And you go, those 2 things haven't been washed in a month. That's your underwear? They're like, yeah, it's fine.
But how do you actually encourage boys to be more expressive in their emotions?
You yell at them till they cry. No, cry. Tell me how you're feeling.
No, exactly.
It's just about talking about it and being open about it. It's about not doing boys will be boys and not early on. One of the things that was absolutely not allowed, as far as I was concerned, was gunplay. You were not allowed to play with guns. You're not allowed to. I wouldn't have any play fighting, anything like that. I said we will not ever emulate violence as a form of play, and I think that's a huge thing that people don't think about. They're like, oh, they're just being boys. Yeah, boys will get quite rough and tumbly with each other and the rest of it. But there's so many positive ways that boys can play that don't need to include pretending violence or actually being violent. And guns, so swords were okay, because swords, there's a certain skill to sword play, and there's an equal amount of defense. Like you can each parry and you can defend. Whereas with a gun, there's no defense at all. And there's just no reason to even begin to lighten what that means in play, what you're pretending to do to someone. And I was very strict about that. But also there's 2 forms of male energy. There's construction and there's destruction, and I had I was very lucky. My first boy, who I got pregnant on while on contraception. So he was clearly like meant to be. I do think he's the second Jesus. And he came along and he had this wonderful, just gentle energy. So you give him a bunch of blocks, he's building, he's engineering, he's creating things, right? Then my second kid came along, a little bit more traditionally male. He'd come along and he would destroy everything that his brother had built. So you've got these two different energies going on, but it's all about encouraging construction instead of encouraging destruction.
Wow.
You know what I
mean,
and talk to them, obviously. Talk to them, hug them, love them.
What a concept. Yeah.
My youngest probably crawled, the last time he crawled into bed with me, he was probably 13 or 14. You know, I mean, I wasn't breastfeeding or anything, but just for a cuddle, you know, that kind of thing. And it's just being open to that. Right. And it's just allowing them, you know, it's making it normal. Same thing with things like nudity. I find that, you know, well, we're European. So my parents walked around naked in the house all the time. I saw them naked. It was normal, you know. But, you know, nudity was normal because, again, you know this. In Europe, the body is the body. Germany especially. Naked bodies are natural. There's nothing sexual about that. There's nothing abnormal about that. I was in Estonia filming, and every house pretty much has a sauna, and it's normal when you first meet your girlfriend's parents to go to her house and have dinner, and then after dinner everybody gets in the sauna, and not just, so it's you naked with your girlfriend naked with her parents naked and her little brothers and sisters naked in the sauna, but it's totally natural. And I wanted to make sure that
Estonia is such a small country. Everybody's like, no, we don't like
they're
this.
In the sauna, but they're not. Yeah. Well, then after the sauna, you jump in the river, and I think that you know what that does to the balls. Then
it's all downhill from there. No, but I agree with you.
You know
of
what
course.
I mean? It's just about trying to avoid abnormal sexual attitudes by making everything like that's one of the things that I find ironic is how by trying to protect children from sex, we actually overly sexualize them in a weird way. It's a weird contradiction. Did you ever see that viral video of the woman on the beach who's complaining that the 12-year-old girl, she's like, your 12-year-old girl's bikini is too sexual in front of my 4-year-old boy. You need to put clothes on your 12-year-old. So you don't see the 12-year-old girl, but one presumes that she's in a two-piece. It might be a bit thongy. And the mum complaining has a 4-year-old boy. And she's going, not in front of my boy. He should. And I'm going, your 4-year-old boy is not in any way looking at any woman on this beach with any kind of sex in his head. Yeah. He is not. But if you keep shouting that in front of him, he's going to start going, ooh, what's so naughty about the 12-year-old girl's body? What is inappropriate about that? You're going to expose him to it sooner than otherwise. Because you've made such a big deal out of it. And that's what I find is like, it has to just be natural. Is just going, this is my body. This is what it looks like. This is a female body. This is a male body. I didn't want them to find that unusual. Not that I had, like my daughter didn't run around naked till she was a teenager. You know, like it's only when they were little. We didn't all run around naked as teenagers in our household. I do not live in Estonia. I do not have a sauna. We were not all saunaing naked together. Yeah. I'm not saying that we all ran around naked to an inappropriate age. When she felt uncomfortable and when she felt like, you know, she wanted to not share a bath with her brothers anymore, of course, that is totally up to her because it's her body and her choice. But what I'm saying is that we never made a big deal out of it. There was you don't make a big deal. You know, if I was having a shower and somebody needed something in the bathroom, I wouldn't be like, no, you can't come in. I'm naked in the shower. I'd just be like, yeah, come in.
Yeah. I'll never forget when we moved here. I'll never forget sitting in the cafeteria at my school and telling a story to these other girls in school here. And part of the story was that my dad was walking around naked, but it wasn't like the story. And when I got to that part, everybody screamed. I'll never forget it because I was like, what happened? What happened? And one of the girls was like, our parents don't walk around naked here. Don't you know that? And I was like, oh my God. And I'll never forget it because I swore to myself, okay, I can never tell anybody that story again. And I think I went home and told my
social
parents,
services or something.
Yes,
yeah.
I think I went home and told my parents, like, you have to pack up.
You can't walk around naked anymore.
Pack it up.
Yeah, it just wasn't unusual in our house. I mean, now it's weird that actually now that we're all adults, we don't. No, you know, we don't. Like I wouldn't just walk in on my parents if they're changing in their bedroom. I'd knock on the door. I'd wait till they're finished. Like, we kind of respect those boundaries. But at the same time, if I'm about to get in the shower and I realize I've left something in my room, I'm not going to put all my clothes back on, walk upstairs, get it. I'll just race upstairs, quickly grab what I need and race back into the bathroom. And it's not a big deal if someone catches
it's not a taboo.
A hint of cheek.
Yes.
No.
A hint of cheek.
A hint of cheek.
I like that. That's beautiful.
The new fragrance by Ria Lina.
Growing up in Holland, you went to an American school, so I'm guessing it was diverse.
It was actually 52% American Canadian, and then the other 48% was from the rest of the world. But my graduating class was a total of 66 people. So we're talking 33 on average American Canadians and 33 from everywhere else.
So did you have the experience growing up of feeling like the outsider and weirdo? It doesn't sound like you.
Every single place I lived.
Really?
Pretty much. Except for, so actually as a young child, like at nursery, we lived in Palo Alto. So I actually went to Montessori school in California. And even then, and this is me rather than culture, I suppose. But even then, I remember everyone had a best friend except for me. But I was friends with everyone. But there was David and Danny, and there was Ashley and Ariel, and then there was Eric. He was a bit weird. And then I wasn't pairing up with Eric. I was like, no, you know what?
What was wrong with Eric?
I don't know, but he's like, you know, oh no, they killed Kenny. He was that kid, but he was Eric.
Oh, shit.
Anyway, so they all paired off. I remember never having a best friend, and then when we moved to back to England, because I was born there, and we were just in California for a bit, and we moved back. Then I was the brown American girl from America, and there was only one other black girl in our little. I was in a little English village, like if you can picture it, like a fete with, you know, with what do you call it, Morris dancer, you know, a maypole and things like that, like proper little English village. And there was just me and one black girl. Her name was Cherry Brown. You could not write
Holy
this.
Shit.
Her name was Cherry Brown, and it was just me and her. And I remember kids coming up to me like, "Can I touch you? You know, like, does it rub off?" Because they'd never had an Asian in the school. And I was also the schooling systems are different. So when I moved over to the UK, they put me back a year. And I remember just being bored for 5 years going, I've done all this, or I'm ahead of this, even though obviously as I progressed in theory, you haven't come across it, but the British teach at a very different pace. The British, it's crazy. The British go, this is where we want everyone to achieve. And if you get to that level, they're like, well done, you've achieved what we expect. I'm like, okay, but I could go up here. Can I have some more work? Can I have something extra?
Like,
They'd be like,
I'm going to get a PhD.
Yeah.
By the time I'm 19,
on a schedule here, okay?
Yeah.
If I'm going to have a PhD by the time I'm 23, I cannot sit here while everyone else learns phonics. And they don't push you. The Brits are very much like, well, you've achieved what we expect of a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old. Why do you want more?
And as a Brit, right? Would you consider yourself a Brit?
I would consider myself more British than English, because the English don't consider me English, so... Who am I to?
So
even though I was born there and I have the passport, I'm a Brit. I would say I'm a Brit.
As a Brit,
although if the Scottish decide to go with God, oh my goodness, we want that for them, but
you wouldn't go with them.
It depends on the circumstances. If okay, in an ideal world, like in our black mirror, but no, in our purple mirror, because it's a happy place, if Scotland actually were able to secede and then rejoin the EU,
you'd
tempting.
Go?
Oh God, yeah, so tempting. Wouldn't it be tempting? Except for the weather.
The weather sucks.
If when they separate, they could maybe come down and anchor themselves to the bottom of Cornwall.
Yeah.
Then I would be there.
Met in Edinburgh in 2014, wasn't it?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, 2014.
Was it 14?
That was my first year. The Edinburgh Fringe Festival is every August, for those of you listening that don't know. And the weather is insane. Like in one day, it'll be like 75 for 10 minutes. Then there'll be a rainstorm. Then it'll drop down to like 50 degrees. Then it'll be windy, and then like 60. And that's August.
None of those numbers, but yes, in terms of the
Celsius,
description.
Whatever, it's like 10 degrees Celsius all of a sudden. The first time I was in Edinburgh, I swear I asked somebody genuinely. I was like, when do you guys have summer? Because I thought maybe it comes later. I mean, I am from Europe, but I was like, maybe they just have it at a different, like maybe they have summer in June or in September, and they all laughed at me. And they were like, this is summer. How do you see what is going on with our country and the upcoming election?
Oh, dear.
Well, give us your thoughts. It's always enlightening, I think, for Americans to hear what the rest of the world sees and thinks.
I think it's really interesting. I think what we're seeing potentially is the start of a new religion, and we've never. I think we are, because we're seeing the behaviors of people. They're behaving en masse and following someone without any.
You're talking about Trump?
Yeah, without any.
What's the religion? Trump?
I would not be surprised if this is how Jesus started all those years ago, because we know that there was somebody probably called Jesus that existed.
Hold on. But Jesus started because he was so fucking kind to everybody and helped everybody and healed everybody and inspired everybody. Trump is like the opposite of that.
Okay, but first of all, you have to remember that the New Testament was written.
You're wearing red.
I am.
Now I get it.
You have to remember, though, that the New Testament was written like 100 years after Jesus died. So a lot, think about it.
You think Jesus was actually like Trump? And then they were like, this is too depressing. Let's make him nice. Let's make him nice with a beard and sandals. He can't be this lunatic.
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest. I would not be surprised if Mary was gangbanged by those 12 disciples, and it just wasn't, come on. It was like 12 guys walking around with one woman. What was that? And she was a...
And then she suddenly
and
was pregnant.
And she had to clean everybody's... Not that Mary. No, Mary Magdalene. Not his mom. They didn't all gangbang his mom. No. His mom, if anything, wasn't gangbanged enough. She got impregnated by God, and then Joseph came along and went, hang on a second. I waited for her to be 16, and now someone else got there first. Like, Joseph was a cuck. Joseph was a cuck. All right.
My God.
And if you want an example of what's wrong with men, Joseph is the perfect example. No, so I think it's interesting, because what we're seeing is a type of brain that's following him with not their ration, but with their heart. Like, there's an emotional complex of people that are following Trump. So no matter what he says, every time he speaks, he reinforces their belief that he is essentially a chosen one. Like he is godlike, and that everyone's out to get him. And that's also part of the narrative, because everyone was out to get Jesus as well, if you recall. And in the end, that he finally got caught and got persecuted for crimes that weren't even really his. And he then said, I will do this on behalf of everybody else who's committed crimes. He took everyone's sin upon him. And so I think we're kind of seeing a similar thing, and it's a real battle.
Except that Trump was convicted.
He was convicted, but again, what I'm saying is, from their perspective, it's a kangaroo court.
Right.
And he is being persecuted. Like, from their perspective, he is K, and this is the trial by Kafka.
Right.
He's Joseph K. So I think it is fascinating to watch it just from a sociological standpoint. You go, wow, I think I might be witnessing in live time what will be. I'd love to come back in 2,000 years and see how this is being told as a story as to what happened, especially because we're recording so much more than they were able to record when Jesus was born. But on the flip side, we're scared as fuck. Are you kidding me? Of course it's scary. It's a very young country. It's only 250 years old, and all countries go through these kinds of turmoils as they find their way. But it's a massive landmass. It has at its disposal so much more technology than any other young country has ever had. It could be the end of our civilization as we know it is a possibility, because always, as soon as civilization gets to a certain point, and we see it with the Incas and the Egyptians and the Romans and the Greeks, then it kind of implodes on itself. So we're seeing...
So you think it's the end of
well, it really depends on what happens in November, because we have to remember that Kamala, who I really like, I like what I see, I like what I'm hearing, but who she is and who she is being was only truly created very, very quickly in June and July. It, and there would have been a few people planning it, going, let's get her ready just in case. And a lot of people going, no, Biden has this. No, we're sticking with Biden. We're sticking with Biden. And a small group of people going, are you sure we shouldn't just in case? Like, let's just maybe do a bit of debate prep with her, maybe get some, costume, get some clothing sorted, get some talking points. And so we don't have, I think, we have this 4-year record or 3-year record of who she was as VP and then who she was before that against what they've created very, very quickly in 3 to 4 months. So we don't actually know what her presidency will look like, but I think it's, from our point of view in Europe, it feels safer for world politics with her. But it does mean more of the same, which is probably a lot of status quo when it comes to business staying rich, a lot of the status quo when it comes to, the
Bombs
massive
going off.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Wars and attitudes towards that. So even though she feels safer, she does still feel like status quo. And we were getting to a point where things needed to change, which is where Trump came from in the first place.
Yeah, right.
Was out of our need to change things up.
Maybe we're done. Maybe this is it. We've had our time.
Humanity's finished.
Exactly.
We're done.
On that note,
time for the bacteria to reclaim the earth.
Nice. I like that. You see? So don't be afraid of the diseases in New York.
All that mouth
Let
chlamydia,
the disease
it is meant to be.
You. Exactly.
It's meant to be.
Ria, we've come to the point in this podcast where I have to quickly play a little game with you that is just called the poll questionnaire.
Okay.
Ria Lina, by way of Palo Alto, by way of a little tiny little crumpety village in England, by way of The Hague, by way of a mother from the Philippines and a father from Deutschland. Are you ready to play the poll questionnaire?
I am so ready for this questionnaire.
Ria Lina, if you were president of the United States of America,
thank
what
you so much.
American food would you ban?
Would I ban?
Yes. What American food do you think is absolutely atrociously disgusting?
That orange cheese stuff that isn't really cheese.
American cheese?
That's what you call it? It's not
I think
cheese.
It's called American cheese.
Velveeta.
Velveeta, right.
Is that a brand name?
Yes,
Yeah,
but it's government cheese.
Government cheese.
Free stuff they give out.
cheese.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
it's just made out of oil.
It's not
It's
real.
not cheese.
It just isn't. It just, you know what? If you banned that alone, I guarantee you would probably see a reduction in obesity and diabetes in this country.
cancer,
Just
yep.
that alone, and cancers. But it's not food. I'm amazed. I've been watching television and I've been watching your ads because there's more of them than actual programs, and the amount of ads that are not real food. They're just not real food.
Yeah, the food is a big problem here.
And it's so hard. Even like my sister, I'm staying with my sister. She had some cream in her fridge, and I poured it on my berries, going, "Oh, this will be nice." And then looked at the ingredients. There's gellum gum. There's gellum gum in the cream, and I went, "Why do you need to add gellum gum to cream? Because they put milk in it, but you don't need milk and cream. Cream is cream. We sell cream. I know it's novel, but we just sell cream in the UK, and it's made from cream." Like we milk the cow and it comes out cream. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
It floats to the top. But here there was 3 ingredients in your cream, which was cream, gellum gum, and milk. And I went, you don't need those other 2 at all. You just need the cream. But then someone put in the milk and went, oh, it's a bit milky. And then we went, oh, we need to make this a little bit thicker. So someone said, why don't you throw some gellum gum in there? Boom. And they sold it. And I was just amazed at how many things you are putting into your body that you don't even realize here.
It's very sad. Very sad.
I mean, you look fabulous. So you must either not eat or you're like Trader Joeing it all the way.
Thank you. I am very careful about what I eat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't eat meat for like 12 years. I just started eating a little meat here and there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We getting sausage after this.
But no, I'm super careful.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of poison in the food here for sure. Absolutely. But I also grew up with a mom who like eats seeds and stuff and had a list on our fridge, even in Germany, with like all the poisonous stuff in foods and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah. And I had black teeth as a kid because I ate so much candy. So I've come a long way.
Your teeth are looking great.
Thank you. Ria, if you could deport one American person, who would you deport?
Wait, I'm kicking an American out of America?
Yes.
Why would I do that?
You want them to stay here because you don't live here. So you'd want the nasty people to be here.
I mean, where am I deporting them to? I mean, this is the question. In the UK, we tried to deport people to Rwanda. That did not work out. Okay, so if I'm helping you clean up America. Is that right? From my perspective.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, Ron DeSantis.
Oh, okay. The governor of Florida, the great state
so.
of Florida.
I think so. I think he's caused a lot of damage.
All right. If you could add one amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which amendment would you add?
The right to bodily autonomy is probably the best one to put in there.
Yeah, for sure. Perfect score.
For both men and women.
Okay.
I think it's important because at the moment I have a plan, we're going to cut off all the balls. I think that's a given, right?
I like balls.
Oh, you like balls.
You want to cut off
I want to cut off. I just think that, what? I just think that there's a lot of things we can be doing to men's bodies under the same sort of, at state level. I think there are things we could do.
Amendment to mutilate men's bodies. Okay, last question, Ria.
Yes.
Do you know how I can meet David Hasselhoff?
Oh. I think your best bet is actually to try Germany because he's got such a huge German following.
It's true. Go to Germany?
I think you should go to Germany.
Wait for him there.
Yeah, don't do it here.
Okay. And Ria, where can people follow you online?
Oh, everywhere. I'm a social media whore. I'm on all of them.
And what's your tag?
It's Ria Lina, and then it's either underscore or official, depending on who didn't get there first before me.
Okay.
Which is maddening. But
people, follow Ria. Go check out her show in LA if you're there on November 6th at the Lyric Hyperion. Come to our 100th episode recording live at the New York Comedy Festival November 17th at Caveat. That's right. Get your tickety-ticks. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you to our patrons. We love you so much. Thank you to Mike Albanese.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ria, so much for being here. You're amazing. Everybody out there listening is amazing. We love you. Goodbye.